Welcome, warriors. We have been blessed to listen to several guests, 12 in fact, as they have shared their stories of being a warrior through trauma and sometimes multiple traumas. They have also shared stories of hope and survival. They've shared the beauty they found in their broken and how they are surviving and thriving today. Before we get too deep into more guests and more stories, which I am really looking forward to. But I wanted to take a moment and look back at the 20 episodes the Warrior Words podcast has put out so far, and see what these amazing warriors have shared about how they are thriving today. There are many, many ways to thrive and to share what you've learned with others. So grab a tissue and reminisce with me on our first 20 episodes featuring 12 different guests and the ways they are thriving today. Let's rock. Does your past haunt you? Maybe you're in a storm that feels like it will never end. Are you fighting a battle that's rendering you hopeless? Maybe you feel like you're fighting alone, but your battle was not meant to be a solo endeavor. You were meant to be a warrior among warriors. My name is Heather, and I grew up thinking my battles were nobody's business until I found myself in an abusive marriage and felt cut off from all avenues of help. In this podcast, you will hear warriors' words. They will tell you of their battles, both won and lost, their journeys, and their lessons learned along the way. But we don't stop there. These warriors will share how they have applied those lessons to go from warrior to survivor to thriver. Whether it's an abusive marriage, illness, mental health crisis, or any number of traumas this world dishes out, these warriors will use their words to help you find the beauty in your broken, move beyond your battles, and become the thriver God created you to be. Pick up your sword or boxing gloves and join the battle. Your words are powerful, my friends. Make them warrior words. Welcome back to the Warrior Words podcast. Before getting into our 5 ways to thrive, here's a review from Reen to Pinky. Love this podcast. We are survivors. Love the message of hope and encouragement. Keep it coming. Amen to this. We are all survivors. Whether we admit it or not, we are all warriors who battle something in this life. Sometimes lots of somethings. And that means we all have a chance to survive and thrive in one way or another. Thank you, Reen to Pinky, for your encouraging words. Would you like me to read your review on an upcoming episode? Please go to Apple Podcasts and leave a review for the show. Your comments and your star ratings help people find the Warrior Words podcast. It only takes a few minutes of your time, and it would help so much. And you can become a Warrior Words insider for all the latest news. Go to subscribepage.io/pearls of wisdom. And as always, that link is in the show notes. Now on to our show for today, or this week, or whenever you're listening to it. So as I look back at the 20 episodes we've done so far, I've learned a few things. But I think the most important thing that I've learned in these first few episodes is that trauma is not always linear, nor is it a one and done situation. But you must keep fighting in order to win, because you cannot win if you do not fight. So let's look at these 5 ways to thrive based on our guests, my guests, the Warrior Words guests experiences. And they have experienced many different kinds of traumas all over the spectrum. And so I think that it's very interesting that we can look at all of their different experiences and find some common ways to thrive. So, all right, number 1, write about your experiences, write about your traumas, write about your ways of battling, your warriorhood, how you survived. Write it down. And that can take multiple forms. You can write a book. John and Wendy, a couple other guests, Lisa, Karen, they have written books. But you don't have to write a book. You can write a blog. I know it's not the 80s or the 90s or whenever blogs were really popular, maybe not the 80s, 2000s, dating myself, when blogs were hugely popular, but they're not dead. You can write a blog, share your story. People do still like to read blog posts. You can journal. You can keep it private. Sometimes just the act of writing your story is healing. And you never know. You could decide to burn it and just have that healing be for yourself and helping you thrive personally. Or maybe that journal can become something of a legacy that you leave to your children and grandchildren. Number 2, use your voice. The way that our guests have done that primarily is through podcasting and public speaking. Kim Stewart, Dr. Hartwell, Jerry Bisbee, Kristen Christian, they've all started podcasts or done some public speaking. Yes, this is a little more involved, but it is a way to share your experience and your story and your battles and your conquering with others. And as our review shared this morning, or as our review shared earlier, it's encouraging to others. Your stories are encouraging to others. That's kind of the point of this podcast, is to see hope in stories. And you can do that through your own podcast or through public speaking. Number 3, coaching. You can do coaching in a one-on-one setting, or you can do coaching in a group. It can be done live, like in person, or it can be done online. Liz Birkeland, Dr. Karen Silva, Cheryl Esch, Kathy Jo Lang, they all shared about how they are coaching others on what they've learned, on their experiences, helping them through their own battles. Coaching is a great way to go. And you might think that with coaching, you need to be an expert, you need to have licenses or certifications. And while those things are helpful and positive and good, you really only need to be 1 or 2 steps ahead of someone else to be able to coach them through where they are right now. If you think about Jerry Bisbee was talking about some 12-step programs, Al-Anon and Alcoholics Anonymous, and they encourage sponsorship. And you only have to be a few steps forward on the path to be able to help someone else with your story and with the steps you took. So coaching doesn't have to be a difficult thing. You could coach someone, maybe someone in your neighborhood. I remember in Kim Stewart's episode, she was talking about her neighbors who coached her through the process when she didn't know what the next steps were to take. So you could coach your neighbor. You could help someone close to you through their battles. Okay, number 4, a program or course. You can take the lessons that you've learned and teach someone else. Maybe create an online course. Maybe do like the 12-week course that Andrea Lynn created. A 12-week program, I guess. Program, course, kind of interchangeable, but you could create something with the steps that you took. You create it once and you share it, and people can do it over and over again. And many people. This is something also that you can do in person and online. Okay, so the number 5 way is online or in-person communities. You could form a community at your church, at your local community center. Um, you could go online through Facebook, Discord, Mighty Networks, Circle, Heartbeat. There's a number of them out there today. I know a lot of people don't like Facebook, and I understand. I get that one. Um, but our guest Tanya Cole shared how she started 2 Facebook groups, one for her passion of art and one for her passion of autism. And those groups bring people together where multiple people can share stories, can ask questions, can be guided. Um, they're a great way to get together in a space, in an online space, and you can meet people from all over the place. Or again, you can do it in your community, whether it's through your church or a community center. You can form a group where people meet and just get together and share stories. And I have a bonus. I have a bonus way to thrive for you. And that is small ways have big impact. Jerry Bisbee shared in her episode that she created, and I don't know if this was her exact phrase, but I took it to be a word wall where she put uh, blank pages on the wall and she wrote, I am, and then listed, I think she said 30 words about each person in her family, and then finished it with, I am enough. I think she also shared about creating bookmarks. There are just small ways that you can encourage others, even if it's just in your own family. Wendy Hooten, she shared about how she is developing the courage to just go up and encourage people she meets in the community. These are little things. You can share bits of encouragement. You can share one step that you have taken. These little things, they add up. They really add up, and they may just be small. You may not think you're doing a lot, but sometimes it's that little thing that makes the biggest difference. Maybe you just smile at someone. Maybe you compliment someone. And you never know what that effect will have on that person for the rest of their day. So there you go. There's some 5 tips or 5 ways to thrive. And I wanted to take a moment and just talk a little bit about the book writing and the podcasting for a moment. They may seem like really, really daunting tasks. They are probably the most difficult of the ways to thrive that I've mentioned today. And they may seem impossible to do. But every single person, everyone who listens to this podcast, everyone has a story to tell. And the 12 brave people so far who have bravely shared their stories on this podcast, they are all ordinary humans, just like you and me. Their book or their podcast started simply as an idea. And they took a step, they took action, and they made it happen. But I'd be willing to bet they had a little help. A lot of us do not do all of this on our own. And so I just want to share a couple resources. One can be free, and one is a paid resource. But so for the books, I joined, and a couple other people have joined something called Author Ready. It is an online group put together by New York Times bestselling author Richard Paul Evans. And you can start with Author Ready for free. There is a free tier, and you can get started writing. It costs you nothing to get started with what he has to offer. And he has years and years of wisdom to share. Yes, there are paid tiers, but and I get nothing. I get absolutely nothing No monetary compensation for sharing that with you. It is just a great program that a couple of my guests have also been a part of. And that's how I met them. And it's just a great, great opportunity. The other one is my own personal, not my own personal, but my own podcast coach is Stephanie Gass. And this one is a paid thing. She has 3 courses that you can, one, to learn what you might want to do, and then learn how to podcast. And so there's 3 courses that help you with that. I am an affiliate for Stephanie Gass. So if you do decide to join her program, then I will get a small commission and no extra cost to you. So, but those links, the Author Ready and the Stephanie Gass School, will be in my show notes so that you can check those out if you want to do that. So use your voice, warriors. Use your voice to help someone in your area of expertise. So, all right. So I'm going to recap. Not the 5 ways to thrive, but the 6 ways to thrive after surviving trauma. Number 1, write your story. Number 2, use your voice. Number 3, coach others. Number 4, create a program. Number 5, start a community. Number 6, do small things. Remember, you must keep fighting in order to win, because you can't win if you don't fight. So how will you thrive this week? Until we meet again, armor up, fight the good fight, seek beauty, and make your words warrior words. God bless.